يا أبا زبير تفضل صحتين تفضل بسم الله. You can't reject it. It's the what? It's the sunnah. You gonna post the sunnah in front of everybody like that? Astaghfirullah. La ilaha illallah. طيب نعم شيخ.
Was agreeing a couple of things you were saying. Part of the scholar, they used to always say something incorrect, and the other scholar would correct them. Is that a sunnah?
طيب, that's a good practice. It's an obligatory practice of enjoining the good, forbidding the evil. Someone does something that is against Islam, you tell them, you instruct them, you fix them, you guide them to the correct path. There's no doubt about that. That's correct behavior, period. The truth is above each and every one of us. Jazakallahu khairan. طيب, question says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What is the ruling of a woman traveling, making Hajj or Umrah without a mahram? My wali doesn't have time for me. He works a lot running his own business and lives in another state. My male family members are also not available and I'm not married. I'm missing something. My soul and this dunya is affecting it. Please help me, inshallah. Here is not doing anything for me anymore. I want to be around good. Jazakallahu khairan. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First, I make dua for you. May Allah give you success in both worlds and guide you to that which is correct. Ameen. May Allah be there for you. Ameen. What's important is good isn't restricted. Good isn't exclusive to a location. The earth belongs to Allah, all of it. Mecca, Medina, and anywhere else. And wherever you want to find good, you'll find it. However, that doesn't mean that a Muslim doesn't migrate. It doesn't mean that a Muslim doesn't travel to seek knowledge or to be around the righteous people. It doesn't mean that you can't be affected or suffer from pollution or infection where you are. That's a fact. But never think that virtue is exclusive to a place. That's a problem. And that can deceive you. You think that I'm only going to be able to do the right thing, I'm only going to be able to learn, I'm only in this location in Mecca, Medina. And you never go to Mecca, Medina. Or you go to Mecca, Medina and you have to leave. Right? Don't think that. You have to have the mindset wherever you are. Right? That the earth is Allah's earth. And you have to have the ability to find that peace within yourself and ask Allah for that sakina wherever you are. In front of the Kaaba or on Lancaster Avenue. This is a fact. And if you think that it's only in one place, you're going to have a rude awakening. You may go there and someone or something may disturb your peace, may upset you, or you may see some acts of disobedience being done. All right? So the proper mindset. Mind is always over matter. But inshallah ta'ala, of course, going to Mecca, going to Medina, making Hajj, making Umrah, the blessings, the rewards, right? The virtues of that location, of those places, of those times, of course. We want to encourage you to do that. So inshallah ta'ala, speak to your wakil and tell him, plead to him, beg him to take out the necessary time, make him an offer he can't refuse. I'll pay for your ticket. I got the ticket already. Make him an offer he can't what? Can't refuse. I got your visa, I got your ticket. Flight is next week. He can't say no. Force his hand. No Muslim, inshallah ta'ala, is going to turn down a free Hajj or Umrah in 2022, right? With the cost of Hajj and Umrah. And if you can't do that, or if he's just too stubborn, you tell him, look, please make time for me. And if he has no time for you, and you feel that that's what your soul needs, many scholars of Islam have allowed a woman to make Hajj or Umrah with a trustworthy group, even if no men in that group are her mahrams. Many scholars of the past and of the present, they have allowed this, right? And the best thing to do and the safest thing to do is not to travel without a mahram unless it's a need or a necessity. That's my advice to you, and that's the answer to that question. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Anything else from the brothers or sisters here? طيب. نعم أخي. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
I was just wondering, like on both categories, can the seerah of the prophet be like considered sunnah, and do they derive fiqh rulings from the sunnah,
Clear. Excellent question. The answer is yes. But seerah is also from the Quran. So it isn't an absolute synonym. There are many seerah stories mentioned in the ayat. Surah 3, chapter 8, chapter 12, 49, 46, 52. You understand? Juz Amma, this, etc. Many, many seerah stories that are in the Quran. So the seerah isn't an absolute synonym, sunnah and seerah. But to an extent, yes. The seerah is the life of the Prophet from beginning to end. The holistic view. And the word seerah sometimes has what? Sometimes specifically mentioned. Is depicted and a specific meaning is intended, such as the timeline of the Prophet. Many scholars, when they say the word seerah, they talk about seerah, they're not discussing halal haram. They're not talking about fiqh. They're not talking about aqidah. They're talking about what? Aywa. Revelation to Hijrah, death in Medina. You understand? And this is one of the reasons why people of different orientations talk about and deal with seerah. And aqidah never comes up. Fiqh never comes up. Akhlaq, they're just talking about the Prophet's life. This is what happened in the 6th year. Whatever you believe concerning this, that, qadr, iman, sifat, this is what happened in the what? The 6th year. And this battle, the mushrikun came here, the Muslims were there, they won, these were the martyrs. Nothing to do with nothing else. And then the other scholars, as you mentioned, who deduced the rulings from those battles and stories. This proves the permissibility of this. And then it's haram to do that. And the Prophet forbade the companions to drink like this in this battle. And he forbade the women to do this during this migration, etc., etc. Understand? Wallahu ta'ala alam. Tayyib. Anything else from the brothers and sisters here before we stop? Questions coming from initials MHG, Queens, New York. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. What is the ruling on drinking a juice during khutbah at Jum'ah? Also, please briefly explain muttafaqun alayhi, jazakallahu khair. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That should be avoided. You shouldn't drink or eat anything. And if it's very hot and you're very thirsty, it's very humid, perhaps you may be allowed to have a drink of water. Perhaps, if there's a need or a necessity, but that should be avoided. All right? If you need something, that's one thing. Of water, other than that, no. As far as muttafaqun alayhi, then you can find the answer to this question and the explanation of a tadhkirah and other books we've explained. And the general answer is that muttafaqun alayhi could mean agreed upon by all of the Muslims, all of the scholars. Everybody agrees. And sometimes muttafaqun alayhi means that which is collected by Bukhari and Muslim. Or sometimes muttafaqun alayhi means Bukhari, Muslim, and Ahmed. Or it could mean all 6, depending on the scholar. The most popular usage of the term is going to be on Bukhari or between Bukhari and Muslim. Both of these scholars collected the same hadith from the same companion, regardless of the wordings and the variations. Aslul hadith muttafaqun alayhi is agreed upon both by the two sheikhs, but that isn't what all the scholars unanimously say. Wallahu alam. And of course, that is going to be from the most authentic ahadith to have. Next hadiths come from MA from Harlem, New York. How would you respond to somebody who claims you don't need hadith, just Quran is sufficient, and claims that the Quran explains itself and don't need any sources? Anyone says that's a kafir. They're not a Muslim. No Muslim will ever talk like that, period. They've rejected Allah. They've disrespected Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, and they wish to make Islam a mockery. And we've explained this as well in those other series that we have done on Tadween and Sunnah. And we will explain that in this lesson as well, inshallah ta'ala. In the coming classes, the necessity of Hadith and Sunnah, and that the Quran itself tells us to take the Hadith and Sunnah. And the one who whole scale systematically rejects the Hadith and Sunnah is a murtad, waliyadhu billah. He's left Islam. May Allah help us. And there are many reasons behind that. From that is that the Quran gives us a story. The Quran tells about the beginning or the end or sometimes just the middle, etc. Where are those blanks filled in or those pieces filled in of the story? When Allah says, indeed, we see you turning, looking in the sky. Who is He talking to? Who is Allah speaking to when He says, we will give you a new direction of prayer that you will be pleased with? Who? Okay, I think we should pray towards Botswana. And you say, no, Mozambique. I'm going to pray Togo. I'm going to pray to the Cape, that direction. No, I want to pray to the north. Which direction of prayer do we make in? Because I read in the Quran, the Holy Quran, that we will give you a direction of prayer that you'll be pleased with. We have not made the direction of prayer that you used to face except to show who would follow the messenger from those who will turn in flight. What is Allah talking about? Who is he talking about? What direction of prayer was there? Which direction? South, east, north, east? Who was Allah talking about? And who is the person that Allah is speaking to? And what is the new direction of prayer? Make sense out of that. And if you can't, you have to accept my claim, what I'm telling you. And if you can't make sense out of that, and you're stubbornly, obstinately saying this, you're a kafir. Because you're disrespecting the Quran. And Allah is telling us to do something, explaining what happened. Indeed, Allah knew that you used to deceive yourselves, but He forgave you and pardoned you. Who was deceiving themselves? Who did He forgive? When did He forgive them? What were they doing to deceive themselves? So there are countless Quranic passages you cannot understand, let alone practice, without the what? Hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. So it's kufr akbar. It's istihza, it's mockery of the Quran. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Questions coming from WB, Hamtramck, Michigan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum. Aba Ramla. ما صحة هذا الحديث؟ من ألقي جلباب الحياء عن وجهه لا غيبة له. هذا ليس من كلام النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الثابت عنه. العلماء بالجملة أجمعوا على جواز غيبة الفاسق المعلن فسقه، الذي يعلن بالفسق ويعني يظهر الفسق ولا يستحي ولا يحتشم، هذا كأنه أحل للمسلمين عورته. أما هذا الحديث بهذا اللفظ فلا أعلم ولا أذكر أنه من الثابت الصحيح عنه عليه الصلاة والسلام. والله أعلم. SHDC, Assalamu alaikum. Sheikh, what is the name of the kitab you taught from? I missed the beginning. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Barakallahu fiik Shams. Hayakallah. It's a book that one of my students put together from some of my lessons called The Compilation of the Sunnah. The book isn't published, it isn't out yet. But when it's available, inshallah ta'ala, we'll make it available. If you're talking about this book, the Disciples Primer, then this is something which is going to be coming out soon. A pocket manual for the 9-to-5 Muslim for learning Hadith science. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Next question is coming from AS from London, UK. Ustad, do you have any advice how a brother doing full-time ta'lim al-ilm can provide for his wife? We've explained that in the beginning of Seeking Knowledge, 40 Hadith from Seeking Knowledge, Volume 2. In the beginning of the book, what do you do? Get married first. What do you do if you're married, etc.? At the end of the day, if you're a full-time student of knowledge, and if you love knowledge, and if you're devoted to knowledge, then your wife is already in gear, on boat with you. She knows that you're full-time in your studies. So she already knows that your time and your money and your efforts are limited. And inshallah, that should have been one of the reasons why she married you, if you're truly devoted. As far as if you pick up knowledge when it's comfortable and convenient, then that's a different story. And as I've explained many times to many of my personal students, when they ask me for advice, I want to get married, I'm about to get married, I would tell them, make sure you tell the sister that you're already married. And the brothers are like, what do you mean, Sheikh? I said, did you not hear what I just said? What do you mean, Sheikh? I'm not married. I don't want a second wife. I don't need a second wife. Blah, blah. Did you not hear what I just said to you? If you want to be successful in your studies and have a wife, you already have to be married. You have to be polygamous. And you have to tell her the first sit down, you know I got another wife, right? If you're okay with that, we can continue to talk. If you're not okay with that, adios amigos. Right now, go, leave, walk out the door. So he said, what do you mean? I said, well, maybe Allah knows best. I mean, I said this to myself, like, you've already failed. You're done. They say, you're what? What do they call it? Your goose is what? It's cooked. It's done already. If you don't understand that question, that means when you get married, you're going to get tied up, you're going to have kids, you're going to be paying bills, you're going to be buying cases of Pampers, your wife is going to be complaining, let's go to the movies, let's do this, let's do this. Why you got to study all day? You lost already if you don't get that riddle. So your wife is supposed to know, my first My favorite one, my first love is knowledge. And then comes 2, 3, or 4. If you don't have that mentality, you're going to get caught up and tied up. Working, paying bills, providing, so on and so forth. You have to be willing to make the ultimate sacrifice for knowledge if you want to be successful. You have to be stingy with your time if you want to be a true student of knowledge. It doesn't mean you disrespect your family or disregard your family, but you have to have that mindset, right? And if you have that mindset, you can work 8, 10, 12 hours out the day and still be a student of knowledge. Because the mindset is there of hunger, reading, studying, memorizing, listening, reviewing with the time that you have. 30 minutes a day with the proper mindset is better than studying full-time in Medina with the improper mindset. That's a fact. You're on a bus, you're on a train, going to work, you got your AirPods in, call it Bukhari, you're rocking, you're listening, you're recording, you're memorizing. That hunger is better than you just being, a soft-shelled crab, right? Half and half, right? Half student, half playboy, half student, half gym, working out crazy, half student, half businessman, half student, half this. It's a problem. So it's all about the mentality, how you think, how you look at yourself. Even if you have a full-time job, even if you're in prison. I know many brothers that are in jail, did years in jail, they memorized books, speak Arabic language fluently, and they were in jail for 20 years. And I would consider them better students than brothers who graduated from Medina. Because it's about the what? It's about the mentality, right? Wallahu alam. Next question says, LS, New York, Assalamu alaikum. How do we deal with jealousy and envy? You don't deal with it. You turn away from it. You ignore it. And we did an entire explanation of a whole book, Fiqh al-Hasad, Sheikh Mustafa al-Adawi, from Masjid Taqwa. Check out that playlist. We spoke about hasad from beginning to end. And from that is how to deal with it. Right? Wallahu alam. Next question is coming from, Assalamu alaikum, Abu Bakr Ashif from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. What is the best print of Sunan Abi Dawood, Tirmizi, Ibn Majah, and An-Nasai? Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khairan for the question. And may Allah bless all disciples of Hadith in the lands of Ethiopia and other countries. That's a difficult question to answer. I myself, I haven't read every copy. I don't own every copy, so it's hard, let alone impossible for me to say the best copy. It's difficult. Are there copies that are better than others? For sure. Are there copies which are most accurate? For sure. Right? But regardless of what's the best copy, the most important thing is having the book and reading the book. And don't get caught up in the worship of prints. Ibadat al-taba'at. Worshiping this print, this is the special print, this is like this, not like that. How many times have you read Sunan Ibn Majah? Serious question. How many times are you reading it daily? What can you tell me about this hadith, this isnad? Many brothers, they're book connoisseurs. And if it opened up volume 1 in Sunan Abi Dawood, they couldn't give you anything. The first narration, give the sanad, give the takhrij, give the fiqh of the hadith. You can't tell you anything. So that's the most important aspect of the books. There are some prints which are better than others. Inshallah ta'ala, I wouldn't mind sending you a list of some prints that I personally feel are the best, or those which are unanimously agreed upon to be the best, or some of my favorites. I'll send them in an email, inshallah ta'ala, maybe even with the PDF. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Next question is coming from CT from Birmingham, UK. May Allah bless you. Is a woman permitted to ask for khula if she found out multiple times her husband was talking illegally with potential co-wives, although he is now upright? I would say be patient. If he's upright now, that's all that matters. If he did something that was illegal, haram, and if he hurt your feelings, he upset you, he should apologize to you. He should make it up to you. He should show, I'm sorry for offending you. You're my wife, and you should also be my friend. And no friend wants to offend his friend, even if it wasn't wrong what I did. It was fair business what I did, but you feel some type of way. I'm sorry, yo. Sorry. Forgive me. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings as a what? As a friend. Even though what you said isn't actually factual, or it was okay for me to have done what I did, but the fact that you felt upset about it, I'm sorry. So your husband, he should apologize. And if it was something that was illegal, of course he has to make tawbah. And if he's upright now, take the good from him, inshallah ta'ala, and deal with the current. Don't live in the past. Let go of the past, especially if he apologizes. As far as you feel he's going to do something illegal again or whatever the case may be, or you can't get over the hurt or whatever, and you seek this, you want the khula, then the khula can be sought binaqs fi din wa aibin fil khalq. Fi dini wal khuluq wal khalq. Right? Aib dini or khalqi or khuluqi. Something wrong with a husband's religion that you can't bear. Something wrong with a husband's character you can't bear. Or something is wrong with the husband's physical makeup that you can't bear. Those are all three justifications for asking for a khula. Remember understand this? Wallahu ta'ala alam. And of course, it's best to try to work out the problems if you can. Wallahu alam. LS, Baltimore, Maryland. I am a single mom, no mahram. Would like to vacation to Dubai with my son. As we said before, many scholars of Islam of the past and the present, they allow a woman to travel without a mahram as long as the roads are safe. As long as the roads are safe, as long as it's general safety. And the best thing to do is not to travel unless you have a mahram. Some scholars have said if a woman is with a group of other women who are trustworthy, she can travel. Some scholars have said a woman can travel by herself if the road is safe. And others, they say, with regards to technology, airplanes, airports, etc. And then other scholars, they say, la, stay away from it. And that's the best thing and the safest thing to do. And Allah knows best. And perhaps, inshallah ta'ala, you taking your son on vacation, maybe that'll help him out, inshallah. Recreation is a recreation of energy. You recreate energy through recreation. So taking a vacation is good for you, seeing a new land. And of course, here in Philadelphia, mostly all of us or most of us have been what? Victims of gun violence, one level or another. Your brother, your dad, your cousin, your nephew, your homie, somebody, you yourself were in jail, whatever. And one of the reasons why people get caught up in gun violence and crime is because they don't know anything outside of Philadelphia, let alone that section of Philadelphia. Germantown, North, down bottom, wherever, South Philly, wherever you at. Let alone, forget the section, people don't know anything past their neighborhood. And there's some people who don't know something past their own block. That's all they know. The world is the corner store, the Chinese store, this store, and that's it. That's life. And they get caught up and sucked into that world, and they would be shocked if they got on an airplane and they saw different countries. Whoa, dang, you see that? Yeah, I see that. I've been in this country 10 times. Keep your eyes open. You will see even better. Oh, man, can we stop here? Can we buy this? Can we get this? No, I'm going to a better store, a better location. You mean I can live here and I don't have to say this and I can find this? Yes, son. Yes, you can. It's a whole world out there. There's no reason for you to get caught up in a block or a clique or a building thinking that that's life, trying to show off, trying to impress this person, trying to be loved and accepted by this person. Most people, they're not exposed to anything. And that's why back in the day, even your non-Muslim parents or grandparents or your uncle, in the summer vacation, they'd take you somewhere, right? Down south, upstate. They would take you somewhere, get out of the urban city, get some fresh air, see that there's other things to life besides concrete jungle. So sometimes taking your son on a vacation, especially to lands of Muslims, that may be the factor of him being saved and not becoming a victim, a statistic, right? Unfortunately, a number and a chart of jail, prison, locked up, shot out, burnt out in the dunya. Now, I'm a long mustaan. May Allah help our youth and protect all our youth. Ameen. طيب. AJ from Cincinnati, Ohio. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Allahumma barik. We like the new addition on the finger. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khairan. May Allah bless you. Thank you very much for the compliment. Jazakallah khairan. AA from Toronto, Canada. May Allah bless you, Sheikh. Is one supposed to shave the whole head of a newborn? May Allah bless you as well. That's the sunnah. Yes. HS, New York, New York. What are tips to deal with OCD in wudu and prayer? Tips to deal with OCD in prayer is never, ever listen to OCD. OCD is fake and it's false. It is an illusion. It is your mind tricking you. It is your mind telling you to pay attention to something that doesn't need attention to be paid. It's telling you something is there that's not there. And if you want a fire to die down, you have to prevent feeding that fire, and you have to suffocate and smother the fire. So every time you double check, oh, let me see, but what about, but maybe I didn't, but let me take more time, you're making the OCD and the waswas stronger. Prayer, simple or difficult? Wudu, simple or difficult? Did you not learn wudu? You did. It's no reason why you forgot to wash this, or maybe the water was dirty. That's all fake. So ignore the waswas. Day by day, step by step. I know it's not always easy. I know it takes time, but you have to fight on it. You have to put out the furnace log by log, and not the opposite, feeding the furnace. But Sheikh, you don't understand. I have to go back because when I did this, that's how people talk about waswas. You have to ignore that waswas. Wallahu ta'ala. Our last question that we'll take tonight, bidnillah, is coming from Initial ZS from Yorkshire, UK. If a hadith rejector says Quran is qat'i, and with hadith we can't confirm whether the Prophet said it, so we reject it, what is the response? Ask them the question, how is the Quran qat'i? Have you read the chain of narration? Can you tell me the narrators? Can you tell me, do you have possession of Abu Bakr's Mus'haf, Umar's Mus'haf, Uthman's Mus'haf? Do you know the ulum al-Quran? You give them a basic, simple quiz on ulum al-Quran, I guarantee 9 out of 10 people would fail. So you yourself don't know what the Quran really is. You're following and trusting scholars. So how are you going to reject the hadiths because it's not qat'i? You don't even speak Arabic. What do you know qat'i? Spell qat'i. The average person, they can't. They can't. It's a fact, right? Let alone if you ask them basic questions about the Quran, this tafsir, why this verse was sent down, they can't answer. So they have to acknowledge you don't understand everything about the Quran, right? Of course they want to say, no, I don't. So why do you demand to know everything about the hadiths? And you're not a hadith scholar. That doesn't make any sense. That's unfair, right? You believe in this wholeheartedly, even though you accept the fact there's much of it you don't know, but you reject this wholeheartedly because you're off. Something's off, right? So that's a foreign understanding, foreign alien ideology, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should knows best. Sallallahu sallam wa barak ala abdihi wa rasulihi nabiyina wa imamina Muhammad wa jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.